Don't you just love a good beef pastel? Well, that's what we're making here today. So I had my minced beef already seasoned with green seasoning, and to a hot pot I just added just a little bit of oil before throwing in my minced beef. And while my minced beef is cooking, I'm adding some ruku and some soy sauce to my pot while it's cooking. That is to add flavor and taste and also salt. This right here is fine thyme, which adds a great flavor to your minced beef, and I like to add it while it's cooking. I also add some while I'm seasoning it as well. For my dough, I'm using corn flour, and I'm adding half cup of flour to my corn flour, salt to taste, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and 1 pack of Maggi all-purpose seasoning. And I'm going to give all my dry ingredients a good mix before adding my wet ingredients to the mixture. For this recipe, you'd need 1 margarine, and I'm using the marigold. I'm just cutting it up into smaller pieces before I add my hot water to the mixture. And to this mixture, you're going to add 7 cups of hot boiling water to your dry ingredients. Then you're going to add 1/4 cup of oil to your mixture as well, and you're going to give this a nice turn. Be sure to use a spoon while you're turning this, because this mixture is very hot with that boiling water that we just poured in there. And you want to make sure all the dough has combined together so you're not seeing any dry spots at all. I'm pouring a little bit of oil into my hand before making my balls, and this is to ensure that my pastel balls have moisture and it doesn't dry out. So you just want to give that a roll, and now you have a really nice bowl, and this is going to be our outer layer for our pastel. These ingredients gave me 4 dozen pastels, and I would have also used 5 pounds of minced beef to my ingredients to achieve 4 dozen pastels. For your balls as well, you want to make sure that you cover it down with a wet cloth, and that is to ensure the moisture is not lost during the process. Here I am just preparing my bowl with oil, and this is what we're going to use to grease our leaf before putting that corn flour ball onto the leaf. I also like to use a plastic bag before I press down my dough ball, and this is to ensure that the corn flour does not stick to the pastel press. I'm making sure that I fold over my ends before actually completely closing up the pastel with the leaf and the foil, and I usually use both leaf and foil to ensure that my pastel is secured when it's time to steam it or cook it. Now bear in mind, when you're making a pastel, some people like capers and raisins and olives in their pastel. I don't like those ingredients in my pastel, so I just make my pastel really plain. But those are some of the other ingredients that you can add to your meat, either minced beef or minced chicken, when you are preparing meat for your pastel. And now that we have folded our pastel with our leaf, I'm just going in with my foil to make sure that my pastel is secure and it does not unravel in the banana leaves. These leaves that we're using is banana leaves that we would have cut and burnt on the fire to make sure that they are soft enough to bend when it's time to fold your pastel. Pastel is one of my favorite things to make and to eat as well. It is a bit time consuming when you are making pastel, but the outcome is always so worth it. These are what my pastels look like when they are folded in the foil. They look very neat and uniformed. To cook your pastel, you're going to add it to a hot pot of boiling water with salt. Don't forget to add salt. And you're going to place this and let this cook for around 20 to 30 minutes. And we're just going to unwrap our pastel to give our pastel a nice taste, and this tasted so delicious. Pastel is something that you can store in your freezer for up to 1 year, so even if you don't consume all your pastel, you can bag it and put it in your freezer for up to 1 year. To reheat your pastel, you're just going to add this to a rice steamer or a strainer for about 10 to 15 minutes and you can enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.